Hello, everybody. If you're just watching, you are watching the live broadcast on MsChronicChronicles on YouTube and also on Rachel Raw Truth on YouTube. If you're also listening to the podcast audio of this, then you are listening on Anchor, iTunes, and all the other places. Hold on one second. I knew I heard an echo. Hold on. All right. Is it okay for you guys listening in? I also have a guest on the show today, so if you're listening in audio, you probably don't see their names. The Mary and Joe Show is hosting Marie Tarot 504 and Tukey Rue, Mr. Mysterious, Mr. Rue. You'll get to know these awesome people who are now co-star, co-guest on the podcast and the channel. So if you're joining us right now, please make sure you say hello in the chat. Let me make sure it says created channel. Oh, geez. Hold on. To be able to chat in my own chat, I'm having problems. Hold on a second, everybody. Let me say hi. This is nuts. Really now? Let's see. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I will get to the chat. Give me a moment, everybody. Please introduce yourself, Marie Tarot 504.
Good evening. My name's Marie. I've been on the show a few times in the past, but coming back, I'm pretty excited to be here.
We have been friends for probably I think over 20 years now. We met back in high school, I think freshman year of high school, and have seen our hair colors change, wrinkles form, the things that happen as your friends. And life has taught us quite a bit. So in this first show with all of you listening, I will get into the chat. Give me a moment for that. Everybody who is listening, we are basically opening up our hearts, our minds, our souls, and sharing concepts with all of you in a new platform version on OnlyFans, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Anchor, and a few other platforms. You'll need to look in the description below. If you happen to listen to podcast forms, pretty much every podcast is available and will be linked below. So each time you guys listen in, it will be broadcast at different locations, and then they will be cut off and slowly, depending on where we plan to broadcast ultimately for that episode, you'll just need to listen in. So we kind of want to build the right kind of listeners and the right kind of topics that feel close to our heart. So each of us will kind of share a little bit about us and how we feel about each subject that we bring to this table. Each of us on the calendar dates, you can follow that on Twitter, Facebook, and on Instagram, as we'll give a visual every month for that month, what days and times are scheduled. Currently, right now, it is Mountain Time, Colorado time, 7 to, I believe, is it 11 or 10? We decided
11.
11. So, but that doesn't mean the whole show is, as it sounds, 4 hours spanning. It's kind of as long as we feel the subjects should be given energy and when we can actually go live, because we're parents.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. We are parents. We have real lives.
Exactly. So let me see if I can say hi in here.
And we may go over.
Can't go check in the chat.
I can't either.
All right.
Neither can.
Okay, so all of us, please leave comments for the video and we will get back to you on our next episode, which will be tomorrow. Marie here.
We will get it figured out.
Right. This is like a green moment with a whole group of friends that absolutely have so much to bring to the table. Individually, we come from different dynamics, but we are all born in the same place. So with that being said, we thought it was the absolute best idea to come forward and talk about spirituality for this first episode. So
yes,
I do encourage you guys, if you're listening on the Mary and Joe Show, to get your coffee, which I'm about to take a little step. Get your whatever you like drinking, and your Mary. Hopefully you are a toker like us. So this is kind of a token talk if you've ever seen coffee talks. sort of the same thing. So not just podcast style, but when we are actually showing videos or talking about certain things, we encourage you guys to let us know in the chat, what are you smoking on? How do you like your coffee? Those kind of things.
Yes,
So,
your favorite coffee recommendations would be greatly appreciated.
right. And we will both have in the description, well, actually, all three of us will have Amazon wish lists. So, in case you want to send a little love to any of us individually or as a group, there will always be a link below. So,
yeah. And let's give that moment for Tukey Roo to say hello.
Yes, please say hi.
Yes, coffee, herbs, all the above to get your head right and get you on your path to being who you want to be.
So why do you smoke, sir?
Sometimes it gives me an alternate perspective on life and the events I may be facing. So, and I also just love the flavors. It goes hand in hand with coffee, if you ask me.
Absolutely, it actually scientifically works. Did
Yes.
you know? It's a carrier for your brain. Like 100%, the caffeine works with the blood, and the THC can work faster to the cannabinoid system in your brain. So it has been proven they work hand in hand. We should absolutely do an episode on that. I will make a note. Coffee and cannabis.
Only on the Mary and Joe show.
Of course, of course. And Rachel Raw Truth. Uh-oh, did he get kicked off? What happened?
You gotta go back on.
Yeah, I'm here.
It's okay, we'll learn it. But when we are broadcasting from whatever platform we are, like Rachel Raw Truth is actually a little bit more raw. We're a little bit more open. The topics are kind of out there all over. This one is a little bit more deep dives too, but they all will be broadcasting as we feel fit on the days we go live. So if you is he still joining? Hold on.
Yes.
Let me add. Sorry about that. We'll learn this. Please do continue, Tukey. Sorry we lost you.
Hold on, he's got a little malfunction over here.
No worries. I'm grabbing my coffee.
Let me grab my brew.
That's smart.
He's got to grab his brew.
So let me tell you guys what I'm smoking on, and please feel free to share anytime you guys want. And I encourage it in the comments because at least YouTube lets us be nice about that. And if you're watching
that, hopefully everybody will come
for
around
now.
at some point.
Right. I'm actually smoking 3, and they're pretty freaking amazing.
All right.
You ready? You
Yes.
ready for this one? I have to say this, and it's funny. So this is the strand. It's an indica dominant. It's running at 28%, I believe, and it's called Yahemi. Yahemi? Like, you hear me? Yahemi.
Tim is still having
and
malfunctions.
Then Orange Cookie Kim, which is an indica base. Let me tell you, this smells like an orange, like a Fanta drink. It's incredible. It's so good. And then I've got some G6. Like a G, isn't that how it goes? I think it's how it goes. Something like that. So yeah, I've got those 3 mixed up and 2 joints rolled. I do want to go through while everybody's getting their lovely party favors here on this great podcast. We're going to run probably about an hour. So get comfortable. Feel free to leave comments. I will get back to them when I can. So I will review them at the end of this episode. But let me go through some of the topics that we're going to be planning to share with you guys. And please jump in, anybody in the lovely chat here.
Yes.
Marie and Tukey. I want to say toucan, but that's not right. That's like a bird. I keep thinking a toucan bird, like the beautiful, Okay, so
he thinks he's beautiful. I'll tell you that.
Right? Uh-oh, here we go. So we're not going to dive into spirituality quite yet because you guys got to get comfortable and ready. We're going to give all of our heart once we do, though. But on the 29th of this month, as this is the intro of our entire new episodes, so you'll need to follow along in the title and the description what each episode's about. I'll do the best I can to describe it. But Katrina is 17 years here on the 29th of August. So it's pretty intense for all of us here in this lovely live, as we personally have memories that we can tell you in detail and color. And we're all in different places in our life because of that experience.
Yes,
so,
I definitely agree with that. Katrina was a big impact on my life.
Huge. And can you believe it's been 17 years?
Yeah, you know how I know it was 17 years? Because my son is 17.
And I lost my favorite teddy bear, Mr. Bear, in that storm. It hurt.
Were you stuck there?
I actually went to Florida and rode the waves in the water.
Yeah.
I just felt at peace. Like, I had a lot of fun, I guess you could say. Somewhat at peace, but when I came back home.
A day before, or did you leave the day after?
Several days before.
Smart.
So I was good to go.
Before after. Holy crap. And then Marie over here has her own personal experience, not just becoming a mom, but we're going to get deep dive into her experience.
We will go over it on the 29th, the anniversary.
That is correct. So you better join us on that live.
I'm really excited to actually be doing this, knowing that we have talked about this for so long and it is finally being put up front and going live. I love you, and I'm so glad to be here with you, MsChronicChronicles.
We have such history and such experiences that we really believe, a lot of you listeners, it's not just us understanding where the fuck we've come from. And please, if you can't handle language and you don't like content that makes you sometimes have goosebumps, maybe you shouldn't be here. Otherwise,
amen.
We want to hear about your experiences too. So everything is welcome as long as you're respectful.
Yeah. And sometimes some people don't see respect the same way that others do.
Yep.
We definitely will never discourage you for putting your real feelings out there.
Right.
I myself am a spiritual advocate, and I believe that what my job here is to advocate for the spirit and to speak to spirit on a daily basis and to bring everyone, society in a whole. I cannot bring together, but I can make my contribution to this planet and to Mother Earth and all of that she is by giving what I know. And that's for advocating for everybody to have their voice and to realize that you can speak to spirit.
Sorry, that was not a ghost. That's my alarm system. If you ever hear the woo, sorry, I'll turn that down. I do apologize. I couldn't agree more, Marie. Honestly, I think we're all used as a vessel in life in some way, shape, or form. I have very, very personal beliefs in that. And I think that your experiences, they don't just happen for you. Sometimes they're for other people to understand too.
To make sense for the whole.
Absolutely. I honestly am looking forward to your input to Key.
So quiet.
I think that, can we just let the listeners know at least how old you are?
I'm actually 27, and I've been on a spiritual journey of my own. And I feel like all humans, some way or another, have a connection, and we're all in the same place.
I think you have a lot to offer to the listeners from your upbringing and your family dynamic, both of you. I really do, because at least in my own perception, not everybody is gifted with not being programmed.
Yes. I guess we should just unleash the elephant in the room.
Right. Let's say it.
Is my younger brother.
That's right.
We share the same mother. We have different fathers. Our paths are a bit different because of that, but at the same time, we share the same womb of the person that has generational knowledge in tarot, ufology, many different things, and we've had to drug addiction.
Right.
We've had a long list and a long line of advocates trying to get through the midst of all the others, and I'm very grateful for my younger brother to be sharing this journey with me.
I think your Sicilian roots really do say a lot too. I mean, isn't it Sicilian, or am I being completely disrespectful?
Yes, our grandma
I'm like,
is
I think
Sicilian.
I'm wrong.
That
I don't
is
know.
also
That's
she's
mine.
also a tarot reader. She is also a psychic and a spiritual advisor, as well as a hypnotist.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Do you want to add anything else to Momo's profile?
That's beautiful.
Well, yeah,
Do share.
Momo is also well versed in UFOlogy, and I feel like no matter where you come from, you may have experienced things that have altered your spirit or shown you a different way in life, and so as a whole, we meet together and find out what gets us to our best place as ourselves.
And so I would say ancestrally, we have stood up, and
we try and show.
You can't be shaken by sheeple.
Let me ask you something right off the bat, because I'm sure listeners are going to be like, what was that like to grow up? I mean, because you're from Louisiana, yet your open-minded upbringing wasn't something we were culturally allowed to do. I was more programmed and came from a completely indoctrinated Christian upbringing. Yet my mother was very into tarot reading and astrology.
Yeah.
And I never learned it from my mom. I just somehow absorbed it very well after she died. So it was inherent. Right.
Yeah, or
it was
something that your soul may have been familiar with.
100%. It was like its second language. I fucking like, oh, well, there's the light on the wall. It was very weird.
I will just say at this point, just personally and how we are intertwined, astrology wise, I always look to you.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's too much for me, but I'm glad I don't need drugs.
Agreed.
Seriously. Honestly, if I didn't have astrology, I'd probably drink or do lines of something, because seriously, it really helps
everybody
me not
struggles
take
to find that.
Right.
Something to give
Astrology for me
some
is
other
like,
spark in life.
honestly, astrology for me makes me like not take shit personal. And I think even with tarot, that's why I can take a tarot card reading from someone, but I am so indoctrinated still in my belief system. Not that I believe it, but I'm indoctrinated, my brain programming, that it's the bad, or that ghosts are coming after me, or whatever the fuck, demons, demonology in general, that I think it's such a gift that I'm not supposed to understand, that I'm supposed to enjoy from others, which is like sad, because that's even what biblically, what has the Catholic Church done? They did not learn those things. They hired people and things. So I'm just doing the same shit indoctrination does. It's like you have to seek. When I think spirituality, personally, at the core of the belief, even with Christianity, is an inner knowing and belief and guide without those tools. Yet, like, do you think that, like, for your personal experiences, that's what I'm saying, how could you grow up in the land we did, both of you, in different times, having spirituality and you went to a Catholic school, correct?
Correct.
Oh, Jesus.
I did.
Say it. Speak it, girl.
I went to public school my whole life, so
you didn't have as much, like, if
a lot of people just ran in circles, like they weren't even curious about their soul. They just wanted to play ball and hang out.
Yes.
Say that again. Can he please say that again? They ran in circles.
Yeah, so
that's defining.
Most of the people I met kind of had the same problem over and over again. And
yes, karma.
Yeah, I mean, it was myself too. So the people around me kind of led me into a circle, and sometimes I felt reclused or like a loner, and it was because I was trying to learn something different than the circle that most of the people around me were living.
So did both of your moms ever say to you to conflict the opposite agenda-based religion? Did they ever teach you when you were little? Did they say something out loud like, oh, they're praying, don't listen to that, or what? Did anything really?
And you would say no, not at all?
I haven't really heard it. Like,
you don't remember when she went and let Bibles into the house?
Oh, that's intense.
I guess, yeah. people
don't
talk
recall
about
that?
That's
being
energy
washed or
holding
something
too. I
like
kind of
that.
appreciate that actually a
You don't even
lot.
notice some of the things you experience in life. You kind of wash things under the board if it's not what you agree with.
So I'm raising my child as a originally like at this age, my son should have been praying at night every single night. If I was raised the same way, he should have been, to be a good spiritual based person in the eyes of what I was brainwashed. And I'll say it like that because I have very different views. For me, I should be having him on his knees praying to God that he doesn't die when he sleeps. Okay. Right. All right.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
Bullshit right there.
that's not
Okay.
a common
No,
like
not good.
If
Okay.
I
like.
And we're,
should die before
yes,
I
before I
wake, I
wake,
pray
I
the
pray the
soul.
Lord.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so that's supposed to be happening.
You don't have
Now
the right
he's
to wake
6.
without a prayer.
He's 6. So at this point, I've actually been impressed with spirit. Let me just say this from my own personal experience. My son has no idea what God is and has asked me many times. And I'm like, it's not something you're supposed to worry about. And he says, I understand that the universe, which is something we use in our family, a common base, the universe for me is spirit, is like what I guess you'd say pagan, or which it's in a sense would believe like the ever evolving essence that is
Yeah,
beyond living, is what I believe personally from my
I
experience.
call it the ether. It's just
The
like what
ethers,
connects
yes,
everything
Yeah.
beyond or
all of
before,
it,
after
like
death, all the
the
time, and
spirit, the
encompass.
matter, the light,
Yes.
the matrix, okay, whatever we want to call it. I think I've been impressed that my son early has said, and this has all just happened naturally, and she can attest to it, Marie can attest to it.
Yes,
My
definitely.
son has said that when we die, we go to the dark side of the moon and we turn into butterflies, and at night that's where they go, and that it's the dark side of the moon because we're not supposed to know it, which is crazy because he never
That's
ever
beautiful.
knew.
Yeah,
Yes. And
I've heard a I guess a conspiracy, maybe not a
right, it's,
conspiracy, but
we have to cover
concept
it.
that the moon may be like a reflection, and when the soul
Reflection.
passes
Ooh.
beyond the body, it
Uh-huh.
when you notice a light, it's the moon, and it reflects you back to Earth. If you
Oh,
were,
that's intense. Have you
yeah, if you
Oh,
seen
turn,
the
that's
movie
intense for
Soul?
ancestral.
yeah,
Have you seen the Disney movie Soul?
not yet. It's
Oh,
interesting
you
to
should.
me though.
The
I
Disney
haven't seen
movies.
it as well.
Oh, okay. Everybody who's listening and you have homework, you guys are going to cry. It's so damn
And
good.
what streaming is that on?
It's on Netflix. It's wonderful. It's I think it's that or Paramount. So I will put it in the description at the end, and I'll try to link you guys where you should watch it. But I've been impressed because I think it's the one way to like not just teach kids to understand their themselves as a soul, like a soul. That's it. Spirituality in its core is a soul. It's what
Yes.
is the life force inside of your
Your
fucking
spirit is your
body.
soul. And the
Right.
thing is that we all have spirit and we can speak to spirit because we are gifted. Okay. Mother Earth has so many different animals. Okay.
Right.
And I believe that we definitely are animals. I mean, would they survive without us? Would
Right.
the genetically mutated dogs survive without us? No, but the wolves do.
Absolutely. And they're
Okay.
changing.
So
They're
we
hybriding.
as humans have genetically modified these animals to be home animals. Same with cats, things of different things. Anyway, when we have the spirit, we are spirit advisors. I am. And I truly believe that in your heart of hearts, you are as well, Rachel, just who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And if we really look at it, look at the bigger picture of us as a human race.
Right.
Do you see what I mean?
I think we're supposed to pass on. Like,
And
I
so,
think
how
the
can you
Indians
say
did it
when
right
our
with. Go, sorry.
skin and bones go away that our spirit no longer exists? Look at how big it is. As far as if there's anything else on other planets, I wouldn't deny it. I would never deny it. But I think Mother Earth is covered with spiritual ancestors from her.
Right.
Yeah. And I can also say that the same ether that we pull our souls from, or we borrow our souls almost.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all separate versions of the same pie. The ether
Well
being the pie,
said.
like
I love that.
Yeah, it seems like when people pass on, they leave wavelengths, like sounds that you heard in your ear when they talked, and things they wrote down physically
Yes.
through
Right.
eyesight. And so they exist beyond their death just through vibrations they left previously.
And I would say that would be something else that you're going to hear on our podcast very often, being that we are from New Orleans,
Right.
all of us, and we all have that culture background. And
It's good to take
Miss
notes.
Oh, I
Chronic
am.
Chronicles has recently posted about her encounter. Tuki Roo has been with me many times in life and seen many things. And we've recently gone through something. And I can definitely attest that there's something that's walking, that's wandering, that's lost that I can attest that I've seen. How about you,
Me or
Tuki?
oh, Tukey? Good.
Yeah, I just being aware of the passing on of the person, and certain aspects in life have changed. And I remember the words they always spoke to me and the feelings they brought to me. But beyond that, I've also felt shifts of temperature in the room.
Right.
I've had goosebumps. I remember one time I was going to pull some clothing out of the drawer, and this is a few months after the passing and stuff. So I guess it's fresh in my mind. And I'm pulling clothing out of the drawer, and I feel like something around like a 6 or 7 foot tall figure is rushing me or running towards me, and I look up, and it passes directly through me.
Oh.
And the person that happened to pass was in the same stature of what I saw, and I feel like they had a very strong message to present. So maybe they gave me the information before they passed that they had something to say, and I'm recollecting it, or maybe my soul. I don't know. It's a very interesting topic.
Yeah,
For
and I
for
can't
each
wait to
of
touch on
you,
it more.
I'm really curious for each of you. What was in a brief intro to a longer explanation we'll do on another episode? What were each of your experiences that made you a believer in the afterlife? What was for your short example of there's just no one denying it? Go ahead, Mary.
Um, Honestly, I would say the very first experience that I can recollect is my grandmother, my father's mother, worked on Bourbon Street at the old Absent Bar. She did books. And so we would have to go out the back and go through the staircase in the courtyard to the third floor. And they had put a gorilla in this. There was a basically back then, when New Orleans was built, the old Absent Bar was from then, and they had a basic mini prison type deal. It was just one cell though. You know, if somebody got rowdy downstairs, they took them upstairs until the police got there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, they didn't have cars and everything back then, and they didn't have phones, you know, so it was different. Um, but I would always see something in there as a little bitty child when I can't remember. But when I got a little bit older, there would be a gorilla there. The bar back put it back there because he knew that it scared me to go up there with my grandmother.
Mm.
And that was really the first experience because I would be able to see the prisoners in there screaming to get out.
Mm.
And I can remember that vividly. And they would tell me, no, it's just the gorilla. And
It's
I would
almost
always be terrified.
it's almost like how I mentioned that when I saw an apparition, it was something that was fresh in my mind, and so certain I think wavelengths you may be more aware of or able to
Mm-hmm.
perceive because of the
Mm-hmm.
thoughts that are crossing your mind, or maybe going through your
Programming, I think it is. I think
Yes.
yeah,
because
and
you
program.
guys were not tainted like I think you have an actually a lot more
Like,
healthier.
so the moment she
Well,
saw the gorilla and wanted to
unfortunately,
leave the place, she started to feel like the people that wanted to leave the place, and she kind of saw through like a veil of people more than her wanted to leave this place for sure.
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, Rachel, to recall, I didn't. I wasn't raised by my mother. I was raised by Mimi, who was very Catholic, just like your
Ah,
mama.
yes.
And so I was the witch's daughter,
Right.
you see.
And you
And
were
so
treated
my
as so,
upbringing is very
probably.
much different than my brother's, and as I had mentioned earlier, and we'll definitely get into more depth.
Right.
Our journeys were very different. I wouldn't say either was easier or better,
Mm-hmm.
but extreme differences. Um,
It's I believe that when spirituality is used with religion, it becomes so abusive to our souls that we can't live this life. For me personally, my own experience, you can't live this life the pure way that most people, like my son, I'm trying to learn, teach
Yeah,
him. I
I
feel like
find
it takes you away and it creates mental illness when it's unnecessary. So it's
yeah
like living in a narcissistic spirituality. Like
yeah.
you're not
and we've also,
There's like a
right,
ceiling on your beliefs or what is to happen or will happen or could
right.
happen. It's all something that's already
It
told to you.
limits experience, in my opinion. If you are, and I personally believe that we are all gifted, but if you don't, it's a muscle. If you don't use it, you become jaded. If you don't
yes,
speak,
Yeah,
then you don't have communication skills. I don't know how else to. So I feel like with spirituality, it's
practice.
it's more so allowing what's healthy for you and what's not healthy. It's like
Yeah,
the balance and like allowing knowledge. Like I just heard some, and I'll say this, my own belief. We're going to get a lot of slack for this comment right here, and I'll take it. It is what it is.
okay.
But I believe
I
this, and this
back
is
you.
I thank you, because this is where we fall into this next little subtopic of God. I think that if we want to go religion in any way other than like Celtic like religion, where you kiss the ground and thank it, or Indian culture, like, okay, anything but beyond that, right? That's religion, let's say. Okay, Hinduism, whatever the hell it is, okay? I think that if like people who speak in tongues and that kind of thing, it's such a scary thing to realize that you're actually probably invoking demons by saying what you're allowing to
yeah,
possess you, when that's
yeah,
supposed to be the Holy Ghost. What the fuck
yeah.
is
It's a
that? It's
wavelength.
actually you're becoming a temple for bad
Actually, Tugi
activity.
has something to say that comes from our background.
Do go on.
Well,
Do
yeah,
go
there.
on.
I had Pentecostal people in my life as well, growing up, and it just
Right.
seemed it seemed like everybody believed the same thing, so it became a broad like almost like a, I guess you
A
could say,
cult.
Cult like?
yeah, a cult. So if you think of a
Mm-hmm.
cult as like a force field and everyone's
Right.
inside of the bubble,
Oh
like
yeah.
anything beyond the bubble is the limit,
It's
and
fear
vice versa,
mongering
anything
too.
outside of the bubble is unacceptable. It's almost like,
Right.
yeah. So
It actually. Oh, you're on to it, sir. Keep going.
yeah, so it's just interesting to me to, if I just were to walk down the street and I saw somebody that mentioned their limit or their bubble, they
Right.
say that growth comes from being uncomfortable
That's
and
true.
learning from being uncomfortable, and you expand and you learn more about things beyond your limit, and that's the bubble.
So, so why is it culturally unacceptable? And I'll ask you both this because you'll have something to say, both in with intention. Why is it culturally unacceptable for us to do spell work in the sense of manifesting and asking for things other than God to give it to us? Why not manifesting and asking spirit, universe, alignment, not
do
lessons?
you
Why is that
do you
so
really want to
wrong?
know? Because a lot of people are not spiritly guided
Or practice.
internally.
Or allowed to do
Internally,
so?
they're allowed to be brainwashed and sheeple. There's sheeple. There's
All
many, many sheeple. We're on a social network right now, speaking
right.
out
Right.
loud,
The word
and
the
we're
number Go ahead, sorry.
no, you're okay. We are opening a doorway that may strike a little bit of thought because
Yeah,
Right.
a bubble
you,
or limit.
a lot of people have limits that they were taught as, especially we know it in New Orleans.
Right.
Um, in a lot of ways, your mom did let you be open to that once she was willing to be open to that.
Right.
Um, there are a lot of different things that people manifest. And people that cannot manifest it because their limit doesn't go there and they haven't been spiritually awakened to that. Not saying that they do not have a spirit. They have not been spiritually awakened to that.
It's spiritual chastity.
Yes. And so therefore they cannot open that gateway, and so they must fear it. It's been happening for hundreds of years. They would burn people like us. Once upon a time. We've come very far, but we haven't gone far at all.
We must cover, and I'll say it now so we can explain to the people, that we come from a land where most of the ground we lived and breathed on had a church every 100 feet. And it wasn't a joke. It was built on the ground of nuns, and the nuns controlled the pirates, and all the other people were there. And most people don't understand that, like, the dirty South is not described that way just because it's dirty in the streets and smells like piss at times. It literally comes from the swamps. We built on Indian ground. We were literally like you said, heritage wise. I've had this theme.
Yeah, the ghost tour throughout the city and stuff. There's a lot of events that happen that left residual energy. Yeah, there's unrest, exactly.
Absolute unrest and suppression. And I know both of you can say that when we talk about spirituality, it's not just religion. It's also a being that surrounds you. It's an actual clothing that you feel, because spirit can be something that's literally on you. And like, when I say that I left Louisiana and felt like my literal skin changed, it wasn't because of the humidity. I felt like whatever suppression I finally left the grip to exists there. And if you know,
there is a fog of spirit around you because of many things that happen.
People sick.
Feeling versus the vision. Like if
and so once you cross that Texas line or that Arkansas line or that Mississippi line, there is a different atmosphere. And honestly, Mississippi, it really doesn't cross until you're out of, I would say Pensacola is where it feels good. Wouldn't you say, Tim?
Yeah.
I mean, you have crossed that line. I would say Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama have a lot of karmic holds. And unfortunately,
I was going to say that. It's like a residual sadness.
Unfortunately, I will say there are several of my ancestors that have come straight from New Orleans in the Creole foundation of my roots. I really and truly believe that there is a lot of stronghold, and they do want to keep their people with them. I don't know how you feel about it, Rachel, but I feel like New Orleans will I do know. New Orleans will always call you home.
It's 100% that way.
I have a question for you.
We drank the water.
It's we didn't drink it. We were born in it. We were born in it. Because let me tell you something.
Yes.
Our people, our mama's people, our mama's people.
That's anointing in the religion.
People, our daddy's people. And we was in that. Okay. We in that Creole mix. And the thing is that a tourist can come and go.
Yeah.
Yes,
but
they have
a
free
local
will with
can't.
it. You're right.
You know,
you're right.
If you talk about wavelengths or just like your feelings inside yourself, just different thoughts that cross your mind based off if you're in a good mood or a bad mood or what you experience.
Right.
What you experience makes your mind feel the way it does, and so therefore you visualize and.
So how do you feel about New Orleans? You don't feel like she tries to call you home?
Me?
I really do, and so therefore many people live their lives there, and so. I'm saying if you ever experience Louisiana and you want to see something that is superstitious potentially, if you go out into the swamp at night, you may experience something. It's very common.
All right, everyone. I'm sorry
they will
to interrupt you.
There's people that live out there day and night, and they...
Go ahead, Rachel.
I have a picture I will be using as an image, and I will be making it for this picture. It also will be featured on Instagram that shows massive orbs from the spillway. I have seen literal doors thrown out there that you might remember this, Marie, that is literally the doorway to hell, and the ground is literally fucking toxic, and the air is seriously giving people cancer daily. I'm sorry, go ahead. Do continue. I will be sharing that picture. You'll
Yes.
dig
Yeah,
it.
so I was I guess apprehensive, or I mean, people all my life told me this or that I might see something or I might not, and I heard all the folktale about being in the swamp, and so I just took it with a light heart and just wanted to experience what I experienced as a person. And when I went out there, I saw crosses where people had to lay their boat, and they were laid to rest here, and
Yes.
represented with crosses, and people were eaten by alligators. I don't know. It gets really deep. There was the pirates, John Lafitte. He was.
I'm related to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Go
Well,
on,
one.
sir.
Yeah, that gentleman was bringing, or that guy, whoever.
Right.
John Lafitte was bringing in pirate treasure from many a different places.
And stealing alcohol in the ports and
Yeah,
walking
so
off
these people,
land and taking
We are
over,
going to definitely
feeding the
do
shit
this.
out of the land. I'm
In the
writing it down.
future, we are definitely gonna have a
so
Jean
let me ask you
Lafitte.
this: John Lafitte, if he took somebody's material and they passed on and they were able to see beyond the veil of 3 dimension, they might have stepped into a higher plane or something. They're looking for that treasure. Maybe they died looking for this treasure.
Let me
It's
tell
just
you,
an
I
interesting
know a
thing. There's a lot
lot.
of energy.
Okay, are you
It's a ley
familiar
line
with
of energy.
are you familiar with the poly the Mormon guy who's in jail right now?
Oh God,
Prophet.
yes.
Are you familiar with him?
The
I will
Yes,
prophet.
tell you,
Warren Jeffs.
when
His
we
name is Warren Jeffs.
Warren Jeffs, when we do an episode about Jean Lafitte, you'll be surprised how similar they are. Because
Oh,
They
he
are
was seeding,
so very
he was
similar.
physically seeding the land. Do you know why there's so many people that are related to him, but he never had an actual wife? His brother was the one who cut off family ties because he was an insult. And do you remember the fire that happened with the what's the lady with that had the slaves up on the roof, and and she fled to France? They were best friends. I've seen documents.
Oh my God, I do know her name. It's at the tip of my tongue. We will
Yeah, so
definitely
we
do
have to, and I'm related.
Marie Lavelle.
Yes. Okay, so I think that's her. I
Yeah,
don't
she's
know.
a very prominent
Anyway,
figure. She left a lot of energy
they
behind.
were best friends. They were best friends. Those families were best friends with the Lafitte's, and until Pierre, which I'm related to, but it's all kinds of crazy how there's a heritage curse in my family where we don't talk, and you can attest to it, and it goes on and on and on. Well, and the way that Louisiana was built is under like a concept of, it wasn't just racial, it was like spiritual. Like you had to be in the same religion, almost like how Judaism is. Like you couldn't date out of Catholic for like, and when Louisiana was built, it was built on this fake lie that said it's tropical and wonderful, come here. Well, Jean Lafitte was actually Jewish, and left France, was kicked out of France because of their Jewish, went to Nova Scotia, where me and you guys are supposedly genetically related in some way, because we all had to flee there after religious persecution. So I think if your family is correct, and I'm
some sort of limit forced us away.
So listen, we all went through Canada and down. And I know for a fact that there is documents proving that Jean Lafitte went back up north after Beaumont. He went all the way north to Missouri, and he started a whole new life, and he donated a ton of money. And we're going to do a whole episode on that. But there's like,
definitely
it's crazy.
I also had a slightly different experience. It was the same experience in a different place, a different person, but they had
I have to step away shortly. I'll be right back.
Go for it.
They had a cave in Tennessee that I went into, and they had runaway cowboys out there, and so they went inside a cave through a water tunnel, meaning like you had to have a boat or something to get into this tunnel, and they hid out there. His name was Jesse James, actually.
Holy crap! I have a friend local here, she might be watching, who's related too, I think, as well. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was a really wild experience. So I took the boat into the tunnel, and that's where Jesse James and his boys hid out their loot
Oh, fuck.
and lived their life for quite a while. And he was a profound figure in society. They were looking
Right.
for him, so he was hid out very well. And there's soot on the roof and things, and I could almost feel the same feeling that he felt. Like I'm
Right.
hidden out from society, and I have clear water, and things are good. Like it was a weird feeling. Like I felt like Jesse James in this hideout, living good, like or however he was living. I
Right.
kind of feel his vibe. It was
When I
strange.
went to Paris
I was open to it.
in 2009, I was able to sit along the water and the Rhine. I think it's the Rhine. I'm probably saying that totally wrong, but there's the French River that goes through Paris, and it's really like, it looks like it's a canal. It looks similar to like what we see in Metairie, but this shit had so much energy for me. And when I went to Amsterdam, that's a pirates.
Amsterdam.
Yeah, pirates area too. I felt like I'd already seen it before. It was the weirdest thing. Like my
Maybe we'll do
I want a tattoo
my
of a pirate.
heritage.
I don't know what my deal is. I want a tattoo of a pirate, and I
You
guess
should
maybe
get it.
I really rode boats and like felt the energy. Like I'm just picking up on
Tukey
what
doesn't
it
have
feels
a
like.
tattoo.
Right. Okay, what
Yeah.
did you just say, Marie? So I say it right.
Tukey is a tattoo version.
So we're gonna do pirates episode, so we don't forget, because we're getting old here, girl. We're doing pirate episode, and we should do family secrets.
Okay.
I think that sounds good. Hold on. I do want to share that I think it's quite interesting how politics and religion have become such a hand-in-hand thing and have continued to go on, and conspiracies and all that other stuff. If you guys like listening to that kind of stuff, you're absolutely in the right place, because we're gonna find facts behind our beliefs.
We definitely
So
will.
we're
And
not just
also, I
woo-wooing.
think we're going to touch on a lot of things that we feel that speak to us that are of corruption. When we feel things, I'm thinking we're going to do a lot of murder mystery, murder investigation of old and new cases.
Correct. And mostly we are trying to actually give voice to lower profile cases, just because it might be helpful. Yeah, we might touch on some cases, but we leave that to the big documentary people. Otherwise, it's more so allowing a platform.
I honestly feel like if there's any comments that give us topics, maybe we can expand on these topics and kind of meet in the middle with our
three brains.
Viewers.
Is this a threesome? What are we doing? A try. We're having a, what is this called?
Whoa, that's
tripod.
I'm not in.
No, like the meeting.
We're tripoding our brains.
We are pyramiding it out.
We're pyramiding it out. It's the. It'll get
one blue, two green.
Right. No,
which
I honestly think
I've always liked rare individuals, so I would have my two green-eyed, beautiful people with me.
Aw. Well, I do think that even while you guys were discussing the spiritual side of things, we have a lot more to say on that, and we will. But I think for me, my personal belief is that ultimately, since the pandemic, since all the things have went on in like life, that was like a whole PTSD for me, the pandemic, because it felt like Katrina again. It was so weird how separation and isolation. Yeah. But I believe that, like, I've come to a reality that I might be related to ancestors I can look up, but I don't think there's any question in my own personal experiences through things I'll share with you guys, and the rest of us will share our own experiences of certain situations that have happened that have proven, like, holy shit, like, to know things and find things out later ancestrally. I believe that our ancestors can choose us without us even knowing their name. I believe that they can.
We will have to get into this more on another episode, because I believe our ancestors are us. I believe we've been fighting this war amongst
ourselves,
society,
right,
for so many different. I mean, there's no way you can look away from it and
right,
not not be afraid of people who aren't afraid to look at it.
Yeah,
Right.
I find there's ceilings day to day that come up in different ways. Like on the news or media or something. It's just like, this is the new issue, and there's your ceiling, and a lot of people start to scatter like ants, and there's a few people that stand their ground and see the next or something beyond the basic agenda.
And we can look at today's topics like the food shortage that they are predicting are coming. And how is this actually because of global warming,
Or
is
fear
this,
mongering?
or is this fear mongering, or is this
Probably.
political, or
Right.
what exactly
mixture,
game
probably.
are we playing with the human race?
Right. Right.
Have we become so intelligent, but also so mass? We have such a mass society, and so many people are being brainwashed by today's cultural acceptabilities and non-acceptabilities culturally.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that we get to touch on those topics.
We want to bring all of your voices to the surface, so please feel free to email the show. That is every one of the things you've seen, if you've seen it anywhere, this show. If it's on audio, wherever you've seen it, the show's email is rachelrawtruth@gmail.com. It'll always be in the bio. We appreciate all of you. And honestly, I think each of us, we have so much planned. Would you guys like me to quickly go over some of the other things we might be talking about this month real quick?
Go ahead.
All right. So on Rachel Raw Truth's channel, this will be the dedicated. Everything will drop off eventually, and we'll just be having it at that show. But I will be kind of tantalizing you guys who are listening, wherever you're listening or watching. We'll be doing concepts with Marilyn Monroe, discussing on YouTube, books, documents, all kinds of visuals and audio. We'll be talking.
And also, was she murdered?
Was she murdered? Was it political? Was
it the wife?
I might have to bring a personal preference of Bruce Lee about.
I don't know anything about Bruce Lee, so I'm excited. Let's do it. You got to send the ideas on over. Bob Lazar. Do you know Bob Lazar? He's bomb.com. You should know with the alienisms.
Yeah, he's a very smart guy.
He keeps proving us.
Yeah, I mean, I've taken some of the concepts that he brought about and learned about. So we talk about UFOs, and so he mentions certain ways that these UFOs might be able to conduct their activities.
Right.
And he mentions. Yeah, he simply references like 3 nuclear fusion centers, pretty much, that sit in coordination, kind of like a triangle. And with that much nuclear power, they use an element that is not common to Earth. It's not even known to Earth, but they found it's in space, and we've been able to.
It's 113, I believe.
Yeah, 113. Yeah, so they use 113 and nuclear fusion to warp gravity. So when you look at some of these objects, they tend to bend light and things like that. You see them as an orb or like a light in the sky. It's actually something that's bending light around it, and it's bending light to fall into place and things. Yeah,
spirit.
It could be a lot of things, and so spirit might be the highest form, in my opinion. But then there's also like beings that can shift gravity and space and gravity, and
that's the dimensions theory, I believe. No, and
you can shift gravity to a point where you break through space and time. And
I truly think we should touch on how movie references have been predicting and showing us and preparing mentally.
They're making
for a
it
long time.
It's a drip feed.
It is a drip feed.
It's programming to get us prepared, but not completely get us prepared.
But the information behind
they still want to keep control and have a society and cultural values that must be established. I will tell you, moving out of Louisiana will definitely shell shock you in a lot of ways, because we are so culturally driven there that moving somewhere else. Okay, Louisiana is known to be the most southern, and southern is sweet and kind.
Right.
Locally, Tukey Roo and I have moved to a different area in a different state completely. And I will tell you, the people here are a lot more on the friendly, that's socially friendly.
Right.
They bring your groceries to the car.
That's amazing.
They say please and thank you. They stop you on the aisle when they have something that they really like at the grocery store.
That's
they want
insane.
to know your personal. Timothy, you can attest to this.
Yeah, things have shifted slightly. It's
everything you just
it's
said.
very different.
New Orleans, they'd steal your groceries if
yes,
they
would steal your groceries if they were walking out to your car, bringing your groceries to your car. I was freaked out the first time. Like, I was like, why are you following me? What are you doing? And they were like, give me your cart. And I'm like, no, I'm not giving you my cart.
Right.
And then after they made me uncomfortable because of my cultural experience from New Orleans, once they made me uncomfortable at my car, and I'm like, is this guy taking down my license plate? Da 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 da. I try to give him a tip because I'm thinking now, okay, maybe this is his job. They wouldn't accept the tip. It's not allowed.
Gosh.
What?
Yeah, they don't accept tips.
See, okay, California versus here in Colorado. I open doors for people and they say thank you. In California, they'd freak out and back up a little bit. In Louisiana, they'd be like standing there waiting for you to open the door like an asshole. And they'd smile at you and say, thank you. It's obnoxious. Like what you're getting where
I've
you're
experienced that firsthand. So.
Yes. Or if you go to Walmart, which is just a whole nother experience and conversation is
Do you remember when we'd have our Walmart nights?
But you remember when they turn around when you got to the register and not even help you?
But do you remember our Walmart runs at
and we get in trouble.
16, 17 years old?
We weren't allowed to drink unless we snuck somewhere. So we were doing the best we could to have fun. Like with like the bike aisle and the candle aisle.
Oh my God, we did so much.
We could take a step into AI too, because right there,
that's
Walmart,
true.
They have so many cameras. Like I was doing a major. I'm not going to speak on my point of position and everything, but I'm just going to say it was a major point. And so these cameras were looking over people, and in this company, their cameras tell you when they're stealing. Like they can predict or this and that. They have so much information that they download every time anybody ever puts anything in a bag on camera.
I'm putting AI company as an episode. Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah, exactly. Because these AIs are like, hey, you put something in the bag too quick or too short, like you stole something, and they have us as human beings come over and take a double look just to make sure the AI is not fucking up, because they're already smart enough to run themselves, but they just need some slight adjustments and stuff. So I was literally just like some type of engineer, like programmer for these computers that are about to take my job. I'm not kidding. It's real life.
It's real.
Like these customers are furious.
So what are we gonna do when we're in the masses as a human race, but we are also intelligent enough to create AI?
There's face realization and stuff. They can read your face.
Then there's greed.
Hold on.
If you're in a bad mood, they can read your facial expression through a camera, and they give you a social rating. They're doing it in China currently.
So I just watched a documentary on Discovery Plus that was about apes and their human DNA. It's true. Can you hear me?
Say it one more time for me.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I just watched a documentary on apes and human DNA that this is real. It happened, that they were trying to have a hybrid version in other countries of humans and apes, and they tried to inseminate animals with males, and it literally was scientific rape with the words they used. And then it was a whole culture to not like Aryanize, like Nazi eyes. It was actually to brain downsize, or could we play with the genetic? So you would literally start the ape planet. Literally what it sounds like.
So any way that science can go, if it can go up or down, they're going to push every limit. There's barriers that we have in our textbooks there's barriers that scientists have at their most profound state in current science.
Can I say
We're
something?
trying to break these barriers and shit. So
Go.
yeah, I can imagine.
You ready? You ready for this? You ready for the end? We're going to do an episode on this, and I'll put the movie and all. But the reality is that every single test study, from the monkeys to the women that were inseminated with monkey sperm, and I'm not playing, it's crazy, all died. That means that the human race isn't, we can't fucking play God like that. And you put like a pigs with a monkey, and it's real that they
so I
tried.
don't know.
And
I don't know if we have
far
any
back
anthropologists in the group or in the chats, and I will say that I did go to USF, go Bulls, and I do have a little bit of background in anthropology, and I will say we jumped from humanoid to
right
humanid, and we grew, our brains grew so large, and at that point we started doing cave drawings of things in the sky.
Right.
Okay.
Which was
so
spirit.
We honestly, our
What's
ancestral DNA
spirit. Oh, go on.
has
Sorry.
a part, and there's many things. I believe there's a lot of truth that we should look to the sky.
Right.
Our God and things of that, our spirit.
Right.
Because there's the Holy Spirit.
Right.
If you look, I don't believe that religion is all a lie, and I think that it's man-made.
Yep.
And that if we look further into the looking glass, like your very beautiful son can look into the looking glass and he can say, from my logical human brain and the spirit that is in me, my soul, that even when my skin falls and my bones are gone, I will still have this soul and spirit that seeks more.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
He will see that as his ancestors did, as the ones that passed before him that still watch him. And I hope that we touch on all of these things, as I have children myself who also have people very close to them that have passed.
Right.
And I think that we need to, as a whole, as our threesome, which is really gross because
triad. It's a triad. It's better. It's a triad.
I think that we can really bring a lot of things to the table on many different topics in many different ways. And I hope through this intro, all of you will tune in again, or you will be watching this on replay to get to know us a little bit more. I hope that you stick around for the journey and really have to hear what me, Tuki Roo, and of course, MsChronicChronicles has to say.
MsChronicChronicles. Yes, I'm here. I got you. No, and the rest of the shit, you guys, we're going to be doing a music breakdown of like lyric conversations, poetic moments. So the three of us will be sharing certain days of the month. You'll need to follow our Instagram. That will be the Mary and Joe Show, or MsChronicChronicles, or request me the Rachel Raw Truth, or the beautiful Marie Tarot 504. And Mr. Rue over here, he'll do his thing when he's ready. He'll come in when he's ready. We've got so much we'll be sharing with you guys, but if you guys have any ideas, please make sure you send us a message. So this is just actually the intro. Tomorrow we will be back on, and technically we'll go a little longer than even now, which is we did exactly what we said we wanted. Look at that. High five. Look at this. Let me make sure. I went through one book. I'm doing good over here. Hopefully it's not loud. Let's see. Oh, we are going to touch on a few of these. These are quick. I have to say it. So we're going to be touching on drug epidemic from Louisiana, Florida, all over the world. We've experienced the politics that come with it, the things. So you might only be able to hear part of those episodes due to content restrictions here on YouTube. You could hear the rest of the episode potentially on the actual podcast, The Mary and Joe Show.
Yes.
And then we will be touching on some natural herbs that have worked good for us in different ways other than cannabis.
The self-tape theory.
That is very fun. And you should have text Me all the ideas, girl, because I'm getting real old. And then we're going to talk about some cases like the Dre McCrae and the situation with all that insanity.
Yes.
Some unsolved cases that have happened where we grew up and in the
Possibly.
state.
Scientists that speak out in their
Oh, I would
craft
love
and
to do that. Can we feature some scientists? You
what
get
they're
me
willing
some
to open up
names.
about.
Hey, we will do it. I'm down. I'm even planning to open up a Google line for the listeners who want to call in and give their input at the end of the show. Reasonably so.
Yes, let us know in the chats if you're got any
you're
questions
down.
for now before we get to that.
Let's see. I think we're done with that part. We did it. We did it. High five. It's gonna sound like this every time. Get confused. Where are we going? So, do you guys have some last remarks you want to share with the crowd before we end this intro episode number 1 of the Triad? It's what it is.
Season 1, episode
Season 1,
1.
Episode 1.
Break
We did
the
it.
barriers.
We did it. Break
Just
barriers.
make
I
you
like
feel
it.
uncomfortable, but
Make yourself feel
expand you as a
uncomfortable.
person.
We'll elaborate on that. They might go do something.
Yeah,
Make yourself feel uncomfortable.
Within a safe place.
Be in a safe place.
We hope to be a safe place that you can break your barriers.
I like it. Much better. Be happy. Da-na-na-na. Yes. Okay.
Hey, but that's really the thing. Love is the way. I know that you know that.
It's not drugs or anything. It's just like, dude, like take a walk down the park, look at the sky, feel the tree and the breeze, you know?
I always say pay attention. Pay attention. Look further than the bookshelf. Look at the grain. Look deeper.
So take a chance. Take a chance in hearing what these 3, I don't know, gypsies, New Orleans
we are gypsies. I'm genetically
have to
I'm
say.
With you. Yes. And
you're a
subscribe.
wizard.
You're a wizard? Oh, I like that. You're a prophet wizard. Say it again.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Wizard Hattie. So we'll figure out our mojo as we go. If you're just now joining us and you just found this channel wherever you're watching, please, or if you found us from somewhere else, let us know in the comments. Say hello to wherever person you want to say hello to. So add us. And in the meantime, have a great night, day, wherever you're at in the world. And
stay blessed and blessed to be.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.